only spend about 10 hours a week working on my YouTube channel, but I still managed to get 1,000 subscribers without going viral within my first 3 months. If you're very busy with your career and you don't think you have the time to do YouTube, I'm gonna show you step by step how I did it in my spare time. Hey guys, it's Andy Coleman, and if you're trying to grow your YouTube channel, stay tuned because this is by far my best video yet. Something that I never hear YouTubers talk about is doing research before you even think about hitting the record button. So the very first thing I did before I started filming was I researched how to film a good YouTube video. I don't like going into anything blind, so why would making videos be any different? I wanted a leg up on the competition, and I knew doing my homework first would do it for me. I mainly studied how I can get views and subscribers, which led me into learning about thumbnails, titles, retention rate, click-through rate, and hooks. Now, if you don't know which channels to research, after you watch this video, I highly recommend vidIQ and Think Media. This entire video is basically cliff notes on all the tips and advice I got from binge watching their channel for the last few years. So instead of getting like 2 views on my first couple videos, I was getting hundreds of views because my quality was better than 99% of all the new YouTube channels out there. So I learned a lot about the equipment I needed to make sure the quality was really good, which I'll talk a lot about later in the video. I learned what type of content I wanted to make by figuring out which niche I wanted to choose. I also learned how many videos to post a week and how to stay consistent. I learned about editing and how that matters for retention time. I even learned why it's important to post on other platforms after you release your video. So you see, it wasn't just one particular thing that got me 1,000 subscribers so fast. It was a combination of everything that I'm about to talk about in the rest of the video. So let's talk about picking a niche. The niche that you choose is the main topic that your channel is going to be centered around. For example, the niche that I chose was real estate. More specifically, it was about renters and how I was working with renters as a real estate agent. I got very specific. Instead of talking about something really broad, like the real estate market as a whole, I talked about how to do rental deals. The reason why I picked this niche is because this is what I know about. I'm an expert as a real estate agent making millions of dollars working with renters. So obviously there was no better channel for me to start YouTube on than real estate. You see, picking a niche builds a community. So all of the people that are gonna follow your channel, they have a problem that they want answered. So when you niche down, you're gonna answer and solve all of their problems. So they're gonna be really loyal to you and watch every one of your videos. And if the algorithm doesn't know who your audience is, how is it gonna know who to push your videos out to? It won't, so your impressions are gonna be really low. This should be really easy for anybody starting a channel. All you have to do is pick something that you know a lot about, that you're passionate about, and that you love. Okay, let's talk about thumbnails next. You only have a fraction of a second to capture somebody's attention as they're scrolling through YouTube. So a good thumbnail is crucial to people actually clicking on the video. This will either make or break your video because you need a really high click-through rate, which we call CTR. Okay, so I'm gonna pop up a thumbnail on the screen to show you one of my examples. Okay, so this video is how I made $500,000 a year with free rental leads as a real estate agent. So far, as you guys can see on screen, this video has around 2,400 views on it, and the click-through rate is about 6.5%. I actually changed my thumbnail after the first few days, and since then, my click-through rate has been going up ever since. So don't be afraid to change your thumbnail if your click-through rate is really low. So as you can see on screen right now, I took a very specific pose of a high quality photo of me kicking my feet up on my desk while I was smirking. I made myself pretty big to take up most of the screen, and then I put nice big bold text saying what the video was about. I used a nice basic background so all the attention was gonna be on me, pointing to what the viewers were gonna be watching in the video. I do a different pose and facial expression for every single video I do based on what the video is gonna be about. My main goal here is that I'm trying to tell a story with my thumbnail. But if you don't have time to do a photo shoot, you could always take a screen cap of your video. Just make sure to do a few different poses or different facial expressions at the beginning or end of your video. This way you can take a screen cap later. You really just want to show a lot of emotion, whether you're happy or you're sad or you're angry or you're shocked. I learned that you don't want it being too busy. You don't want too much going on. Sometimes less is gonna be more. Right now, I just use Canva to make my thumbnails, but if you wanna get even more serious, you can hire a professional and they'll make a thumbnail for you, or you can learn Photoshop. So I'm really trying to build my brand right now, so keeping my thumbnails a consistent style and consistent color scheme is still a work in progress. As you can see from all of my thumbnails, they're kind of all over the place a little bit, so I have to actually get better at doing that. Okay, next up is gonna be titles. Your titles and your thumbnails go hand in hand. I try to keep my titles 50 characters or less so you don't have those little dots popping up on screen. Also keep in mind, it's typically better to say how I did this instead of how to do this because people usually don't like being told what to do. I also try not to confuse people with using big fancy words that nobody's gonna understand. I'm sure you heard this a million times before, but using clickbait is the way to go. Just make sure that your video and your title is actually about the same thing. So in my titles, I like to say the attractive result instead of how I actually did it. Okay, to explain what I mean there, I'm gonna use my video, how to make $1,400 a day as a new realtor, to show you guys an example. So as you can see here, instead of me saying like how to close deals and get rental leads, I said $1,400 a day lead generation strategy for real estate agents. It's gonna be way more enticing for the viewer that's clicking on the video if they see the result, which is me making $1,400 a day, as opposed to the process, which is me actually getting the leads and closing the deals. Now, getting the exact title, I like to use vidIQ, and I type in a whole bunch of different title ideas that I have, and I find the one that gives me the best score. Now, I can do a whole tutorial on this and go way more in depth on titles and thumbnails, but I wanted to make this video more beginner friendly, so drop a comment below if you want to see a full tutorial on titles and thumbnails. So after I learned how to get people to click on the video with titles and thumbnails, I had to learn about hooks to get people to keep watching after the first 30 seconds. So a hook refers to a segment at the very beginning of the video to get the viewer's attention. So they're gonna keep watching the whole 15-minute video. Given the vast amount of content on YouTube right now, a hook is essential to keep the viewer watching your video and not click off it and watch somebody else's video. This can be achieved through visuals, exciting statements, facts, music, really anything you can think of that's very, very interesting. Now keep in mind, the hook should be relevant to the video's main content. Misleading hooks might get viewers' attention initially, but once they find out that you lied to them, they're gonna click off immediately. A good hook can act as a teaser, setting up anticipation for what's to come without giving too much away. For example, if you're watching a video about 10 unknown facts about the ocean, a good hook might be about bioluminescent sea creatures, with a voiceover saying something like this. Did you know there are places in the ocean where animals create their own light? Dive in with us to discover more fascinating facts about the ocean's depths. Do you see what I just did there? A good hook is enticing the viewer to keep watching your video by making a really strong first impression. So now let's talk about recording and scripting out the actual video itself. I try to tell a story in the video. Now sometimes I do a better job than other times, but that's the general goal. I'm trying to keep the viewer entertained or solve a problem about a question that they had. Now about scripting the videos out, I never used to do this when I first started making videos, even though I knew I had to do it, just because I didn't have enough time. You see, it takes a ton of time to actually make a really good script. As you can see here, I have a script that I use and I just put it away over here every time I do a line. Before I started using scripts, I would go and ramble on about things that weren't even necessary to the video, and that would really drop my retention time. Retention time plays a massive factor in how many views you're gonna get. Typically, the higher the retention time, the algorithm will think that you made a good quality video because people continue to watch it, so YouTube will push it out more. So some of my videos had a really low retention time, which led to really low views. And then some of my other videos had a high retention time, which led to a lot more views. Now, another thing to keep in mind is how long to make a video. The rule of thumb is 8 minutes long, so you get 2 ad rolls. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you should fill up extra time just to make the video longer. If you don't have anything interesting to say, it's only gonna hurt your retention time and make your channel do even worse. So don't go adding in unnecessary fluff just to get that time. Okay, now let's talk about something extremely important, which is editing the videos. So I personally hired an editor to edit my videos just because I didn't have the time to do it myself. So if you guys don't have a budget to hire an editor, just keep in mind, you can do it yourself, but it's gonna take a lot more time than it took me. So the reason why I paid somebody to edit my videos is I make more money doing real estate than I would if I edited the videos myself. So it didn't really make sense for me to learn how to edit and then go and spend 10 hours per video editing. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you spend $150 on a video editor to edit your video. Well, if you could make more than $150 in those same 10 hours, then it would make more sense to go to Fiverr and outsource your video editing because you could make more money in that same amount of time. So when I first found my video editor, he was brand new and I was also brand new to making videos. So you could even see in my beginning videos, they're nowhere near as good as they are today. Even with all my fancy equipment and hundreds of hours of research, nothing beats real world experience. So me and my original editor, we used to sit sit there doing second, third, fourth, fifth round edits until we finally got our flow down and we finally got our quality up. Since we finally discovered our style, today we don't have to do that anymore. We just do one round of editing and then we're good to go. I always tell my editor to try something new every single video, and then I try to practice my skills for filming so I can give him the opportunity to showcase a new skill every single video. You can even go back for my last 10 videos and you can see how much better my editing got and my videos got over the past 10 videos. One of the things we recently started implementing was the 3-second rule. So we live in an ADHD world. You always want to pop something on screen every 3 seconds, whether it be B-roll or graphics or text or images. You have to put something up on screen to keep the viewer's retention. I use different sites like Storyblocks to get my B-roll and graphics, but there's a ton of other sites out there that you guys can use as well. So after I film the video, I try to cut out all the boring parts or the things that don't make sense or don't add to the actual video. This way, I'm only showing the viewer what they need to know. So I also use a lot of zoom ins and zoom outs, as you can see right there. I also use a ton of J-cuts because it keeps the flow going really well, and when I make mistakes, you guys can't actually see it because it gets cut out in post. Now, there is one thing I haven't really started exploring yet, and that's music. I'm gonna try using that so I can reach my milestone of 10,000 subscribers. So wish me luck and trying to pick different music out. Okay, so now let's talk about equipment and how I film high quality videos. I actually made a complete video on all the equipment I use, so at the end of this video, I'll drop a link so you guys can go and watch that afterwards. You can also go in my description and I have my entire Amazon store which lists all the equipment that I've ever bought. So I didn't personally do this, but you can use your phone when you're just starting off if you don't have the budget to buy all this fancy equipment. I had a bunch of extra money, so I was able to buy the fancy cameras and the fancy mics and the fancy lighting, but if you guys can't and you just want to start filming, it's okay to use your phone. Now, in my mind, I was investing in myself, so I went out and spent a few $1,000s on a Panasonic Lumix S5, a Sennheiser MK416, an Aperture 300D, and a whole bunch of other equipment because I knew that this was going to work. And you have to spend money to make money. So if you're starting off with just your phone, that's okay. But eventually, you're going to want to buy a lot nicer equipment to make better videos. As Mr. Beast always says, you want to make the best videos possible. We can also talk about my set a little bit. So this set that you see behind me, it took me a little bit of time to create an interesting looking set. I had to get the lights that you see behind me, that globe over there, that subscribe sign, and a bunch of other knickknacks that are going to make it interesting for the viewer, especially when you're doing videos like I am right now, which is called a talking head video. So if you're doing these style videos, take a little bit of time and effort and create an interesting set. I'm still relatively new, but eventually I'm going to add a second camera angle, which is going to add another layer to my videos, which is going to make it even better for the viewer. Okay, so now let's talk about how many videos should you actually post. So if you're starting a brand new channel, I always recommend posting at least 2 videos immediately. This way, when the viewer finishes the first video, they get a second video that's recommended to them at the end. So I did that in the beginning, and then I also tried to post 3 videos per week, which would have been ideal, but I couldn't keep up with that pace. I ended up scaling it back to 2 videos a week, but I always recommend at least doing 1 if you can't actually do 2 or 3. I realize when you're a new channel and the quality's good, it's also really about quantity. Your quality is going to go up over time, so when you're new doing trial and error, you want to post a ton of different videos to see what works and what doesn't work. My goal is to post at least 5 videos a week on multiple channels, so I'm hiring more team members right now so I can free up some more of my time because I have a ton of ideas, I just don't have the free time to do it. Remember, you can outsource a ton of this work, so you can stick to what you do best, which is be in front of the camera. Okay, as a brand new channel, you should always film a few weeks worth of videos to give yourself a buffer. So what I did was I filmed and edited 10 videos before I even began. So this way, if I got really busy, I would have backup videos to upload. I am so happy that I did this. I got so busy that I couldn't keep up with the schedule. So I would have missed a bunch of days if I didn't have a backlog of videos already done. So I also try to release a video on the same day and time every single week. I like posting Sundays at 11 a.m. and Wednesdays at 3 p.m. This way, my audience knows exactly when to expect my videos every single week. If you do this, the algorithm will recognize this and they'll start pushing your videos more and more if you stay consistent. Just stay patient and eventually your views and subscribers will go up the more videos that you post. Okay, I briefly want to talk about posting on other platforms. There's a little trick that I use to get the algorithm going by posting on other platforms right after I release my video. So my company, eXp Realty, we have a group on Facebook Workplace. We have like tens of thousands of agents on there. So right after I drop my video, I go on there and I post it on Facebook Workplace. This gets me about 10 to 20% of all of my views. I also go to my Instagram channel, which is @TheAndyColeman, so everybody go and follow me later on, and I post little clips of my YouTube video to drive traffic back to my YouTube channel. Some people also use Reddit, but I found that they're not letting me self-promote my videos, so that doesn't work for me. So just get creative on which platforms you want to post. This way, you can supplement your views from the YouTube browse and search feature. Remember this, only 8% of the population has over 1,000 subscribers. As your channel grows and you get monetized, you can replace your full-time job with YouTube. That's been my plan all along because I love filming content, even more so than actually doing real estate. Don't get me wrong though, that's not because I think YouTube's easier, quite the opposite. I'm finding that YouTube is actually harder, which is good for me because it's more of a challenge and I thrive off of challenges. Believe it or not, making videos is extremely fulfilling to me. I guarantee you that 1 year from today, I'm gonna have over 100,000 subscribers. And hey, if I don't hit that, you could all come back to this comment section and roast me for being a failure. But look how far I've come from just putting in 1 hour per day. Imagine if I start putting in 10 hours per day. What can happen then? That's my plan to get out of real estate and start doing more YouTube. So I'm really excited to see where that's gonna take my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. Before you go, destroy the like button, drop a comment below, and subscribe for the almighty algorithm. And I'll catch everybody in the next one. All right, that was pretty damn good if I do say so myself.